funds for a startup page, kind of.
No, I've not looked into that yet.
Yeah, that would be cool because it's like startup companies. I can't, if I think about it, I'll send it to you at least here, but I would think it's everywhere. If they're looking to raise capital, I think it might be called Start Engine, but there's probably a few. And they put their idea and what they want to do, whether it's making a movie or making a widget, and they put all the information and they put it out to investors. And like usually like, oh, if you invest $100, you get a sticker or whatever, you get some type
Yeah.
of little reward. But that might be an idea. I don't know.
Oh, I'd appreciate that a lot.
Um, yeah. So I see it says,
Issue.
okay, how's it going over on your end, my friend?
We have a slight issue,
Okay.
and I just tried to reach my daughter, and she has no access to her phone.
Hmm.
Um, I have all this written out on how to do it, but it seems that they've changed something.
Hmm.
I'm doing it.
Well, I can look because you went to Restream, right?
Yeah. And then I
And
still
that
hit the custom live on customs live
because
streaming
it went
service.
perfectly last time.
I know. And
Yeah.
there's something with the server. Oh my goodness. And I tried to reach Dakota, but she doesn't have access to her phone at work.
Huh. I'm trying to get into Restream.
Well, at the moment, according to Facebook, you've been live for about 1 minute, 40 seconds.
Oh, we're already on Facebook? Uh-oh.
Really? But
Well, we should probably start. Oh, yeah, we are live on Facebook. We should probably start that again. What do you think?
okay, then let's just start it because it's telling me unable to live stream to the custom service. So I'm going to press record and we're going to go ahead as if everything is working.
Okay.
Um, could be me.
Okay, well, it sounds like that we are live. Sorry, we're having a few technical difficulties, everybody. So hopefully, if you are on, you are hearing this. Welcome to Spirit Chat. So, a lot of times the ghosts and goblins like to get involved in the works behind the scenes, and apparently they were messing around with our streaming service today. But I believe that we are on. I see that we are on Facebook. And yes, so welcome. And if you're listening to this later, enjoy the show. We are here for another episode of Spirit Chat. Myself, I am Medium Mari. I am a psychic medium and animal communicator. And I also help to find lost pets with the help of spirit. And I'm joined by my lovely co host, Medium Winter Brook, and she will give a little spiel on her background and what she does as well. But I would be amiss if I don't tell you about our fabulous guest today. We have the most amazing paranormal investigator, David Cook from the UK, and he will be telling us all about all of his investigations and things that he's been working on and like a cool documentary that he's working on. So there's lots of cool things that are going to be happening. Thank you so much for joining us. And I will toss it over to Winter so she can do her intro, and then we will meet David Cook. Thanks
Awesome.
for
Thanks,
joining
Maury.
us. Yeah.
Yeah, so I am a psychic medium. I'm also a transfiguration physical medium and an animal communicator. When I am not, or do not have in my skill set, as somebody would say, is technological abilities. So it's not only the streaming that for some reason went live and I have it all printed out to do it right, but I have been for the last couple days, my watch won't work. And I bought a car and it would not, the things wouldn't work until the salesman sat next to me. So I think it's my energy affecting things a little bit too. And that can happen. But anyway, I'm glad to be here. I missed you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Um, And let's hear from our esteemed guest today, David Cook.
Hel-
Yay!
Hello, ladies. Lovely, lovely to be back. I love all of you, and thank you so much for everyone for tuning in. Really do appreciate it. Yeah, I'm a psychic medium. I'm also a parapsychologist. Sorry to tell you this, Winner. I'm also a bit of a tech guy.
Well, we need you then.
Yeah, I've got all the equipment, which, to be honest, most of it is completely useless for what we need. I'm going to be honest with you, folks, so I don't want you wasting your money. I used to host the Ghost of the Hour, which Mari's been on as well. Um, Other than that, I'm just keeping myself busy within the paranormal community.
Well, thank you for joining us. Yes, David had a very long-running show, radio show on, was it KCOR? Remind me, David, I
Was?
can't remember.
Yep.
Yep, KCOR Radio, and they had a lot of really cool shows on, and I'm not sure, I think now it might just be in the vault, as they like to say, but he had a fabulous show for many, many years, The Ghostly Hour, and I have a feeling you're going to be doing something else, David, though. I want to put it out there. I feel like something else is coming your way, so that's my little tidbit to you, because I keep waiting. When am I going to hear from David that he's doing another show? But so I'm just putting that out there because I feel like it's going to be happening. But thank you so much for joining us. And I know we're a little early for Halloween, but we decided this is going to be our pre-spooky Halloween show. And, we'd love to dive right into it. Maybe you can tell us, David, a little bit about what's been going on, what you're working on. And I would love to hear some about your recent investigations. And David has a cool little tool that he was showing us, a little paranormal investigation tool that we would love to hear about and know what it does.
Right, well, switch it on now. So hopefully you can see that's on. Yep.
Yeah.
What this
And
does, now I will guarantee, and as you know, there are no guarantees, but there is a reason for me doing this,
yes.
folks. I will reveal it at the end of the show or towards the end of the show. What this does is you can ask questions, you can perhaps just speak, and this will hopefully give a response.
Ah,
That's why it's called a spirit chat box.
cool.
So if anyone's got any questions or just anything they want to say, let me know. As soon as we get a response on this throughout the course of the show, I will show what words appear. And hopefully they will resonate with someone out there. So, but I guarantee you we will get results with this.
That's very cool, David. So let me just understand, because also technologically speaking, I am like, ugh. The fact I can make any of this work is like a miracle every day. But so you're saying that people will be asking questions, or can you like try to get a reading from the spirit box, or is it more like it might say your grandmother's name because it knows it's listening and kind of connecting to your energy? Like, how does the spirit chat box work?
Supposedly it's from that little section now.
Okay.
So they put their energy into that and it translates this into words, numbers, could be anything really. But it will generate words, generates numbers. I've used it on investigations. One recently, as it goes, was the Medway Queen, which is in Gillingham in Kent over here in the UK. And it's an old steamboat. And this started coming up when we was in what I call the officers bar because it was really well decorated. The seats were
Hmm.
really comfortable. This come up with the number 666.
Hmm.
It come up with evil.
Wow.
And it turns out at that time, I think it was a little while, I think it was a little while afterwards. I'll have to go back over the video again. But we was doing the glass on the table and we got in touch with a woman called Beatrix who was murdered. Now,
Hmm.
unfortunately, she had a kid as well who was also murdered.
Hmm.
Oh, there we go. We just had our first word.
Yeah.
virus.
Virus. Wow.
So it comes up with virus for the first word. So yeah, turns out the person that murdered her was still with her, and he wasn't a very nice man. So whether it was referring to him, I don't know. But
Okay. So it's like a domestic violence situation.
yeah, seemed that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's very cool.
Yeah, it cost me what, just over £100,
Wow.
Okay.
and that's a
Awesome. Well, I
lot
might.
cheaper than an Ovidus. Because the Ovidus
Yeah.
is like what, $500-600.
Yeah. Very expensive. But no, well, I like the fact that it says spirit chat on the bottom. So,
Yeah, like I say, I will explain why at the end, folks. And it goes back to earlier what I said about most equipment not serving its needs, what we need in the paranormal.
right, right.
So there's a
Okay.
little
Well,
hint for
cool.
you.
So
We'll keep
here's
an
a
eye on any words that are, maybe we can write them down so that, later on we can like, oh yeah, it said, XYZ. That's very cool. So what was the first word that it said again?
Virus.
Iris.
so two things.
Okay.
It's funny. I have gone to like haunted houses. I actually love the Shanley haunted house up in it's about an hour from New Paltz, and they allow you to use their equipment, but I never trusted. I want to use my own abilities.
Uh-huh.
Um, but I do find it fascinating and learning more about using electronics. Sonia Rinaldi, are you familiar with her?
Mm-hmm.
Does the I forget what's the term where they convert, like she gets photographs of the deceased um, electronically, or they type messages on how.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. I can't remember what that's called.
So it seems similar to what your device is doing. It's changing the energy to words for
Yeah.
communication. Just in
Right.
her case, she was also getting images, um, and then I can't remember the name of it. So while I'm trying to remember, because thank you, Menopause, we do have a listener with us today who has a question for your machine, and the
Brilliant.
spirits that are uh, influencing it. She started seeing a nutritionist, and she's wondering um, if that's something she should be doing, and will it work out to be beneficial. So we'll see what the spirits through your machine.
Right. Well, just before you mentioned we had a question, it come up with bottom of lake.
Bottom of lake. Hmm.
So we've got
Interesting.
virus and bottom of lake.
I think the bottom of lake might have been the poor woman you picked up in the haunted Kent, right? The boat who died from domestic violence. Maybe she's.
Um, I don't know because it is permanently moored now at Gillingham Docks, and I don't honestly think that she was actually aboard the ship.
Oh,
I think it was because we was doing uh sort of the experiments, and I think because our minds were open, she took the time and thought, yes, I can finally get my story out now. And she made a
Hmm.
connection with one of the women that was there. So I've got a feeling she'd been waiting for so long to get her
Yeah.
story told. Oh, we just got another word. And this could be to do with the nutritionist. Starved.
Starved. Perfect. I love it.
So I guess what they're saying is don't starve yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Enjoy what you eat and
or
don't starve yourself.
I don't
Yep.
know. Or they're saying that nutritionally she's starved because maybe she needs more vitamins in her body, and the nutritionist might point that out. Improvements to her diet.
Could
Hmm.
very well do. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's very cool. I love that. I'm thinking maybe I'll have to look into getting myself one of those. I mean, I agree with Winter that obviously if it's important to use your own senses. But I'm sure, David, and tell me if this is wrong, that I'm sure while you're investigating, you use your equipment, but you're also using your senses. So it's almost like a happy marriage. So you get a little bit of information from that, and then you're also using your intuitive sense while you're working. So it's like you can really use both at the same time. Is that how it works for you?
It is because sometimes I'll be in one room and I'll be sensing things that are going on, but I'll leave equipment in another room,
Mm-hmm.
which is hopefully recording and documenting what's going on in that room while I'm away. So,
Yeah.
in a way, it does help broaden the way that we investigate. But
Yeah.
Winter's right, it's not something to be relied on. It's
Right.
only used for documentation, perhaps backing up what you're feeling, what you're sensing, see if you can make any sort of any sense of what was going on. So perhaps it might help to clarify if you're feeling something.
Right.
So
Right.
don't use it as gospel, don't take it as fact, just use it for backup, use it to try and find answers. Do not take it as fact.
Right. And that's important information because I think a lot of times people, when you're seeing a TV show, obviously they're trying to boost their ratings and make everything a little crazy. But I think you're basically saying using it as additional information, not the only source. And that makes a lot of sense to me because that
So
way you're looking at it holistically.
Oh,
Well,
here's actually, I would love to put it in my seance room. I sit in a
Yeah.
cabinet every other week with a group of sitters. That's what was for the transfiguration and the physical phenomena. And we do have one of those detectors that turns red when the EFT energy is near it, the ghosts, and then green if they're not. And some of the children from Spirit come in and play with that. But I think that would be fun to have that little device in my seance room.
we've just got another two words. Wouldn't eat.
Wouldn't eat. See, I love that. I love how like so timely it is from what we were talking out about. I'm gonna make notes of these because I will not remember them all.
So you're catching these, right, Terry? Because it was Terry's question. Good. So maybe that wouldn't eat is they're going to suggest foods that you're not eating now or wouldn't be eating, except the nutritionist is going to encourage you, which may be more valuable vitamin wise. I
Right.
work with a nutritionist actually because I have Crohn's disease. So they have me on a Mediterranean diet, which is
Okay.
predominantly fish and chicken and lots of vegetables and fruits.
Right.
That
So
sounds healthy.
I think nutritionists are very helpful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Must admit though, you're looking good, Terry. You are looking good. So you're doing something right. I want your
Yeah.
secret.
Thank you, David.
Just send me
I
your
was
secret
raised
afterwards, please.
on boiled beef and boiled potatoes. My mom cooked very bland. That's why my dad liked it. So you open your eyes when you work with someone who works with food. But anyway, so David, um, I was at the Shanley Hotel and they also had a computer software on a laptop that would make stick figures based on where the ghosts were.
The
Mm.
SLS camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You use
Um,
one of those?
I was thinking about it. I've got the actual camera. All it is basically an Xbox camera. So it's a camera you use on consoles, gaming consoles,
Hmm.
with a different program on a tablet or a laptop or something like that. So that's basically all it is. So if you want to pay thousands of dollars for it, good
Oh,
luck to you.
they
But
have it at the hotel. It's a haunted hotel. They do. It's actually a lovely place to stay. I would stay there, irrespective of doing a paranormal investigation. The rooms are lovely, and I love the ghosts there. Um, and the spirits, if we're going to be technical. Ghosts are just repetitions of energy, right?
Of the energy, yes, exactly. But
Um,
no, I
Well,
was just going to add that because David, you were saying like you can a lot of times get the same results for not spending thousands of dollars. Is that right?
yeah, yeah. So basically, just buy yourself an old Xbox camera. Make sure you can plug it into a tablet, and then you can get the programs online. I know over
Hmm.
here in the UK, it's about £10 for the program, and you can pick up a camera over here in the UK for about £6. So what's the point in spending thousands of dollars when you can just do it for more than a tenth of the price?
No,
that's a good
exactly.
point.
And yeah, and I love, David, how you make it so accessible because I think, if you're going on ghost hunts and everything, that's cool. But maybe you want to investigate your own house or someplace that you kind of feel is spooky, but you don't happen to have an extra $1,000 lying around, like who does nowadays? And so it's good to know. So, like, I love, David, how you make the whole paranormal just accessible to everybody because everybody should be able to investigate these things and sort of find out, if you have something in your house or, you want to feel into that space. And I
Well,
was
we've
just
got some
looking
more
at,
words.
oh, good. Well, I was going to add, and we have more questions also. What are the new words?
A monster,
Monster,
a monster,
a
and thank
monster.
you.
Thank you. Okay,
But you're right, it
cool.
should be accessible to everyone. It shouldn't
Yeah.
be one of these things where it's just so expensive, it doesn't allow certain people to get into things like this. It kills the passion because they think, oh, I can't afford that, so I'm not going to bother doing it. I mean, I'm looking into, believe it or not, one of the things I'm looking into at the moment is a baby monitor
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
because you can leave it in one room. You've got a screen where you can be in another room. So it's basically like your own personal CCTV,
That's true.
and it doesn't cost nearly as much as a CCTV system does. Yet it does exactly the same thing.
Yeah. That makes sense to me. I love that though, and you're right. It shouldn't be shouldn't be, oh, you can't afford it, so you can't do this. So I love how you just like anybody that's hearing this is like, oh, I have one of those in my house. I can try. So
Yeah,
being
take it with you.
making it, yeah, exactly. Make it accessible, make it available to everybody, so it's not just like the upper echelon of people are able to do this. I think that's awesome. And I wanted to add, there's a couple questions that popped into my Facebook here. There is a Maria Villegas, and she said she would love to hear from her son. So let's put that out for your spirit chat box. And then my amazing friend Darlene Dowdy, she said she's wondering if her grandmother from the other side has anything to say. So
Right,
I
well,
wanted to put those out there. And yeah, if anybody has any questions, if you're listening, you can drop it in Facebook, you can drop it in the chat on the Zoom, and we will see if we can get an answer from the spirit box.
after you mentioned about the sun,
Yeah,
it come up with set up.
set up.
So I don't know if he was set up for a crime. Perhaps it was a surprise party he was set up for and he didn't realize it. But
Huh,
that come up, set up.
interesting.
All right, and we'll see if we can get a response for the nan.
I'm putting it in the Facebook chat.
But yeah, I thought we'd do this, just as a little experiment.
No, that's awesome.
I do love an experiment, folks. I got to admit, uh, I don't like doing things the routine way.
Yeah, well, that's why we like you because because it's you try to make things interesting and different. Oh, and I see Linda, who's in the Zoom. Hi, Linda. Just put in the chat. Does my dad have any messages for me? So there is another question for the spirit chat box.
As soon
And
as
if
I get anything
anybody,
through, folks, I will show it.
okay, absolutely. So I just wanted to sort of put those out there. And if anybody connects with any of this information that the box is getting, please drop it in the comments, either on Facebook or wherever you're watching or listening. Or if you're not watching it and you're watching this later, you're welcome to message me. Or I don't know, David, if you would like people to message you if they're getting connections to some of the messages. I always like to hear about, like, oh yeah, that's so and so, or I know that refers to blah, blah, blah. Um, and so
Let me
Well, we've
just
got
jump in. I have a question for David. Oh, wait, sorry.
got myself. Another word, myself.
myself.
Hmm.
Sorry, winner.
So a while back, somebody suggested I get this app to pick up, the words in the ethers.
Yeah,
Ghost detector. Have you ever
yeah.
heard of it?
I have.
So
I've
that
got a
one was free. I'm just wondering because we were talking about, accessible devices for people interested in trying to communicate that might not be skilled at that point in their lives to do it mediumistically.
to be honest, I'm going to be really blunt here, folks.
Please.
Most apps are for entertainment purposes.
Ah,
That's all they're doing, entertainment purposes. In a way, it's what I'm going to reveal later on with this as to what the apps do. I do know someone actually who creates apps. So if you want, later on, I can send you his details and perhaps you can get him on the show. But he actually creates apps and they tend to have better results than what any other
oh,
apps because his apps work offline. So you don't need to be
Oh,
connected
okay.
to the internet. It doesn't take any information from your phone whatsoever, whereas most of these other apps do. And he's a really genuine person and he will tell you everything about his apps, what they do, how they work. He will not hold anything back. But the majority of apps, stay away from. They are just for
Hmm.
fun. They are just to
I
sort of
don't,
play
as I said,
tricks.
I was just, I tried it out and it didn't really make any sense. But again, I tend to rely on my mediumship skills, but not
Yeah.
everybody has those skills open and available. They might be, waiting to be opened. So I was just curious. And then the other thing is because a friend of mine, Sherry Pearl, she she does a lot of work with helping parents heal. And she would get messages in the white noise.
Yep.
Does now, my question to you is that a similar process for the spirits as what your spirit chat box is doing?
Theoretically, yes.
Hmm.
But for me, I know SP7 spirit boxes work through the white noise. But the trouble is, oh, sorry, we've got another word, suspected.
Suspected.
But the trouble is with a SP7 spirit box, as well as the SP11 spirit box, over here in UK mainly, we have so many different radio frequencies passing overhead. Now, we're a small island. We're not that big, really, in comparison to
Yeah.
other countries. So we don't have many places where we have what we call dead air.
Hmm.
So when I use an SP7, I have to use it a different way because sometimes you pick up on radio frequencies because that's all it is basically is a hacked radio. That's all it is.
A what
So
radio?
a hacked radio. So it doesn't stop on one station. It will just
Hack.
continually scan through. Whereas before you can just tune it. This will just keep going. It will just keep going through
Hmm.
frequencies. So with it over here, we have to be a lot more careful with radio to spirit noise. Now, the trouble as well with an SP7 is we don't know what frequency the spirits actually communicate at. So we are operating within a certain range of frequencies, which could be completely wrong. So I think until we actually find out what frequency, whether it's higher or lower than what we can actually hear, which is why I think we should look more into the animal kingdom and learn from them. With things like spirit boxes and even the spirit chat box, I think you have to take it with a pinch of salt. I think you have to come to your own conclusions. So for me, SP7 Spirit Box over here in England is no good because we don't have enough dead air zones. But in America, you have a lot of dead air zones, so it is more effective. So it's personal preference, really.
When you
And
said we should
Interesting.
look to the animal kingdom, my cat got up and
yeah,
turned
saw
around,
that.
and now he's putting his paw down, like, he hears you, he understands you.
Of
It
Well, we've
course
was
got
they
right when you
do.
said that.
another three
That's so
words.
funny.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. Well, I want to add also a couple things here, David. As you were talking, I'm trying to monitor the Facebook chat. There's a woman on here, Brenda Gillum, and she was saying that all of the words that you're giving, the setup, the suspected, and everything that you just gave, she said it can relate, everything the box said could relate to the situation with my son. So that is very interesting. Um, and then there were a couple other people. There was a Mike Raynor who said he would love to hear from his wife, Liz, that had crossed. And then there was a Marianne Rose who said she's open to any messages. And
Well, just got
yeah,
another two words when you mentioned
okay.
about the sun again.
The
An
son, yeah, Brenda's son.
an axe.
An
An axe.
axe.
Yeah.
AX? Wow. Brenda, I
Yep.
don't know if that relates to your son, an axe, but please let us know. I'm trying to monitor.
No, it is.
Interesting.
So when you do investigations, it is interesting and entertaining to have all these bits of equipment, guaranteed. It gets people involved, it gets people interactive. It does actually help to open their mind a bit more as well, which means they're more open to receiving spirit communication, which to me can only be a good thing.
Right.
But like I say, folks, just do not take it as fact. Don't take it as gospel. Use it as a backup and a backup only. And don't spend thousands of dollars, please. If you want any spending advice, let me know. I'll help you out with that because I think this is possibly one of the most expensive pieces of equipment that I have got. I think the only other expensive one was my thermal imaging camera,
Mm,
and that was about £160, and that's a handheld one.
right. So reasonable.
Yeah.
Reasonable.
Oh, pipes. So we've got
Pipes.
pipes. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, because Brenda just messaged in the chat, on the Facebook live stream, instead of the axe, she said it was a sledgehammer.
Ah.
So that's pretty close, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
that is very close.
Pretty
Takes so
close.
much
If she can
energy to make
take,
the word.
yeah.
Sledgehammer's a lot of syllables. Cool.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that's very cool. I'm very impressed, David, by this little, not that expensive piece of equipment that she's able to take almost all of the words.
Yeah, I'd love to have it in my
Wow.
seance room. I wish you were closer
I
to Long
know.
Island.
I was just thinking that. I was like, wouldn't it be cool for us to go over there and join you for an investigation? Maybe we need to
Ooh,
do that. That would be cool. I'm
I'm
looking
hip
for
to
a trip.
go.
Yeah,
We should
maybe we
probably
should
plan
do
it before
that.
my adoption goes through, though.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know the timeline for that, but maybe
Hoping
David, we
August,
could
September. So I have,
August, September. Okay, you got a little bit of time. Well, maybe we could come over and would you like us to join you on an investigation?
Well, that's a bit of a silly question because, of course, I would.
Well, I have to ask. I can't just invite myself, so I need to at least ask, get an invite. So,
Look, don't
and
worry
yeah,
about
Brent.
no invites. Just let me know when you're coming over. I'll get the time off work. We'll investigate. Don't worry about
Wow.
invites.
Okay, that sounds cool. Well, then,
And
maybe
if we're
then,
in England, pretty much anywhere we go, we can investigate.
yeah.
Um, I did a tour of England, Scotland, and Ireland with my two daughters because my oldest at the time was going to do study abroad at the University of Edinburgh. So we went over as a family and did the tour around the islands. And when we got to Ireland, we wanted to do a paranormal investigation with one of the tours, and we missed it because we hit too much traffic. And they put us in this old inn, and I'm standing at the desk, and I'm like, "Are there any other ghost tours available? You know, for my daughter?" No, not tonight. However, we have issues on the fifth floor, then we don't allow guests up there. I said, well, I'm a medium. I already saw the kids running through my bathroom when I took a shower when I checked in. So they let me go up to the fifth floor because it turned out the building was an old children's hospital. And prior to then, it became a psychiatric hospital. And now it's a
Mhm.
hotel. So I just was laughing and I said, see, you ask and the universe or spirit provides. So I had my own solo ghost tour in this hotel on the fifth floor that they don't let guests go into because it was too haunted.
Well, we've just got Power of Christ.
Power of Christ.
Ah,
So I don't know if anyone's relations was very religious.
Yeah, Brenda, I don't know if that connects with your person or if
Linda
anybody else that's watching.
Linda
We've
Allen was asking if her dad was around, and Linda Lupo was asking about her grandmother.
well, we've also
Oh,
just had guidelines come through.
guidelines. Huh.
Linda Lupo can understand Christ. Yes, I am.
Ah.
Oh, okay. And David Anderson said he would love to do if we ever get over to Scotland. He's over by Dundee or some. I think he moved from there, but I know he's in Scotland. He'd happily do an investigation with us.
Oh, all
Uh,
right. Well, I haven't been there either. So, I mean, I've been to the UK, England, but I haven't been to Scotland. So,
well, if you go to Scotland, let me know because I actually know a couple who own a B&B and they also do haunted tours.
Ooh,
oh, well, there we go. I think it might be lining up for us.
I
Yeah,
think so.
they are Argyll Ghost Guides. So it's Argyll Ghost Guides in Scotland.
Okay,
They own a B&B and they do haunted tours as well.
Cool.
cool. All right. I made a note. And
Yeah,
yes,
I love your country. I've been there a few times and always had a lovely time.
Well, have you heard of the store Fortnum and Mason?
I'm sorry, but
Fortnum and Mason, the store.
I've heard of it.
thought
Which is Fortnum and Mason.
a Mason, like as in Freemasons?
Yeah,
Oh, my
that's the
dad was one.
well, that's the name of the store, Fortnum and Mason.
Oh, okay. My dad was at the third, what do you call it? Third level Mason.
Oh, nice. Well, we've got another one because
I can't read it, David.
I
I
know we
know,
can't read it. It's
I
blurry.
know that's the only trouble. I've got to get another laptop, but it's
That's
because.
because.
But yeah, I went to Kensington Palace last month, and I saw this gentleman who was walking along, and it looked like he was lighting up a hallway. So he was getting it ready. So I described the person to a member of staff there. Unfortunately, I scared her a little bit, I think. I didn't mean to. I honestly didn't mean to. He was just doing his duties. Turns out it was William Fulton who worked at the palace. He was selling candles on the side. Apparently, the royal family at the time didn't care. They wished him the best. And after selling candles, he started selling confectionery, things like this.
Hmm.
His partner was named Mason, and that's where the store got its name from. So it's actually them two who actually started Fortnum and Mason. So he worked at Kensington Palace, and I actually see him now because I described the ruff down the front on his shirt,
Hmm.
described all his clothing, looked him up online. Sure enough, he's got a ruff down the front of his shirt.
Wow. Very
Awesome.
cool. That's very cool.
Also,
Well,
Kensington Palace has a connection to Salem witch trials.
really
We've just got the word greedy.
greedy. Wow, the palace.
Yeah, it was William III, and while Kensington Palace was being built, he heard everything that was going on over in Salem, and so he actually sent associates over to Salem to find out what was going on. So Kensington Palace has a connection to the Salem witch trials.
So I was
Wow.
over in Salem. Actually, the worst year to go. There was like 100,000 people that day.
I know I was thinking of you because I was just there like 2 weekends ago, and I'm like, it's not so bad today when we went, but I
Oh,
was
but when
thinking of
I
you.
went up to
Yeah,
visit my daughter, we did a trip, and she'd gone the year before, but it was the end of COVID, so not many people were venturing. It's a great place to go if anybody wants to go. But we
it
did a
is.
tour, and what they were explaining was that it all started because a group of children were probably playing with a Ouija board, and they didn't want to get in trouble, so they claimed that they were bewitched by someone. But
Hmm.
then following that, it was actually about land squabbles. So the neighbor would accuse another neighbor for putting a hex or being practicing witchcraft. They'd get arrested, and the neighbor would then take over their farm.
Hmm.
And then when they were holding the people prisoner, waiting for the judge to come for the trial, the sheriff got the bright idea of charging them rent um, in the basement. It was very interesting. It was almost like most of them weren't really, they were falsely accused of being witches or men practicing witchcraft too, in order for greedy, like your box said, to take over real estate and power in the village. Or at
Yeah,
least this is the position of the gentleman that was leading the tours, and he has written a couple of books on it. And I kind of found some value in that. It sounds, I know there was a lot of witch murdering in Europe with but I'm wondering if over here it was more about land grabs.
yeah, that's very true, I think, Winter. But it's interesting. Someone on the Facebook feed, Mariana Rose, just said greedy may have been a message for me. And then she has an addendum question. Are they just randomly coming through the box, through different spirits connecting with us? So that's a good question, David. Maybe you can address that.
Well, we've got They Knew and
They
Coal
knew.
Mine. Yeah, and Coal Mine appear.
Okay.
So yeah, it
So,
could very well be, in theory, it could be that perhaps spirits are realizing that now we've got a way that we can see what they're saying.
hmm.
And so perhaps now they're taking the chance and the opportunity to say, right, I'm going to get these words out there because I've been waiting for so long to say
Right.
something.
Right. And that's what Winter was saying earlier is like it's hard, people watch TV and they think it's like just a walk in the park. It's hard for spirits to connect with us. Like we have to raise our vibration, they have to lower theirs. So it's not just like having a conversation with another person. It's a lot more difficult. And so if a spirit, like with the spirit box, sees a way, oh, I can get a message to Marianne or to Brenda or whoever that, might be listening or watching, they will take the opportunity. Even if like it may not be understood right away, or you may not be able to connect it until a couple days later, they're gonna take the chance because it's not an easy thing for them to do to always get messages to people when they want to.
Oh no, and you know yourself, when you don't connect with someone on the physical world in the world we're in now, it does take a lot out of you to try and communicate with them, try and get them not to believe what you're saying, but just try and see it from your point of view as well as you seeing it from
Right.
them. So you know yourself, just talking one-on-one with someone can take a lot out of you. So just think what it must be like for spirits trying so hard because, like Winter said, even though we've all got the capability of doing this, which we have because it's a primitive thing we've had since the dawn of
Mm-hmm.
time, but obviously since speech, different ways to communicate, that part of our mind has become dormant. So unless
Right.
we actually exercise it, it's not going to be doing much except just there in the background. So if we can help find a way for spirit to be able to get through to us, then as far as I'm concerned, it's only a good thing. And if we can find a way to help people open up to
Mm-hmm.
receive communication from spirits, for me, that can be a good thing as well. And we've just got behind bars. So I think the majority of these will be related to the sun.
Now, I have a question
I
for
think
you.
everybody glitched a little bit. I don't know if anyone can still hear me.
Yep, we
David,
can hear you.
Mari, you look, I hear you, but your screen is frozen. But everybody else's is fine. So I think it's on your end, sweetheart. Um, Now while Mari's trying to fix that, I have a question about, do you think as we're talking, the spirits are using the energy from our voice to assist them in communicating through your device?
Well, I do believe that when it comes to communication, frequency is the key. So I believe that the voice operates obviously at a certain frequency. So it may be, and the way I look upon it is with our mind, it's like a radio antenna. So you have to tune it to that frequency. So to say that you can't do it, I'm sorry, you can do it. You just have to
Mm-hmm.
learn to tune your mind into
Yep.
certain frequencies. So I do believe that spirits pick up on frequencies that match theirs. That's why some mediums pick up on things where other mediums may not. And then there's times when frequencies will cross and you will pick up on everything together. So I do believe that frequency is the key. And we've just got the nanny come through.
The nanny.
But I do believe frequency is the key for communicating. So it could be that perhaps, because I know spirits have told me, they know I can see them, they know I can hear them. So perhaps it's the frequency of my voice, which supposedly is very
Hmm.
calming, very soothing, from what I've been told. I don't
It
know.
is.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
I
Yeah, I could
really
listen
don't
to
know.
you for hours. It's delightful.
Yeah.
Oh, that smell has just come up. Sorry about that. That was dinner, but that's another story.
So, because here's something else. When I have taught physical mediumship online, it's like a more of an introduction, explanation, and how to set up your own home groups. I think physical should be done in person, but when I do it online, we get EVT, EVPs, electric voice phenomena. And that's what Sherry Pearl, remember I said I couldn't remember
Yeah.
the words? That was it. My apologies. Um, Using Zoom for the class format, but any other time, we're not getting them. Like our Zoom is fine right now. But when I've taught physical mediumship, there's a lot of lip smacking and the precursor to is the EVPs, which would rise then to direct voice if it were to further develop over time. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, I know. Oh, well, we've got.
So do you get any of those or not? It's totally different.
Well, we've just got he knew come up on the box.
So
He
I
knew
think you're
what
still talking
Yeah.
about Brenda's son.
100 100%. And I just wanted to say from the Facebook feed is that Mariana Rose, her comment is interesting. I have a situation that connects with this similar to Brenda's son behind bars, they knew, etc. Fascinating how similar situations with similar energetics come through. And so I think you have a multitude of people from the Facebook group, from this chat, and from this event that are connecting with many of these words. And I wanted to say also that, I'm sure for you too, Winter, a lot of times when I do a day's worth of readings, I get so many of the same situations. Like, one day might have been heart attack day. Like, I know that sounds bad to say, but like everyone that I had heart attack, or very similar situations. So, Marianne, I think makes a lot of sense that you would be able to connect with a lot of these words. And let's face it, these words are kind of, I'd say they're a little more unusual, like being incarcerated and those type of things. I don't think everyone can relate to that. So the fact that we have two people on this feed at least that are relating to these words, I think is amazing. So, good job to you, David, and your box.
Well, we've just got another word, ugly.
Ugly. Hopefully they're not talking about me.
I think they're
No.
perhaps talking
I'm
about an
joking.
ugly situation,
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
joking. Yeah.
more something like that.
Ugly
absolutely, Mark.
situation. Yeah.
This is the concept of piggybacking too.
Yeah.
When we do a dem, with a bunch of people in it, like maybe 200 people, we're not going to get to everybody. So spirit is going to choose who comes through, and oftentimes they're going to try to touch on people. They'll
Mm-hmm.
use the particular evidence, the words that will resonate with more than just the recipient. And then at some point, they will break off and just, individualize it. My father showed me that when I was at the Arthur Findlay College. I went there for a demonstration. I was in London for something else and I took a train up. And he said, "Here's your piggyback." He talked to me, and every piece of evidence the medium gave could apply to my dad, but there was like three other women that
Mm.
also could understand it. And then my father's like, "Okay, I'm stepping back." And then the evidence shifted. And then they were like within two pieces, additional two pieces, two other ladies dropped out. So, and it was just for that one person. Um, so anyway, I think spirit chooses the pieces that they want to share, and they do it on purpose because the woman whose son was murdered, that keeps giving the son giving all this evidence, he could have easily given evidence about his life and not just about his death.
Well, we've got another two words, go inside.
Go inside. And yes, and Brenda mentioned, indeed, it is an ugly situation he was set up.
I'm
So
so
more
sorry, Brenda.
validation. Yeah, more validation. Yeah, of course, Brenda, that's horrible. But more validation that you're getting correct information.
And much gratitude to your son for coming forward today and working with David's device in order to demonstrate it for anybody who's watching or will be watching, because perhaps they might be interested in investigating the use of this device themselves, with, of course, David's caveat that, as with all things, I always start my readings, listen, I make mistakes.
Yeah.
And as with all, so many other, every profession does, doctors, lawyers, accountants. So, if I say something and it doesn't make sense, okay, then maybe I made a mistake. We'll either have
Mm-hmm.
spirit correct us or we keep going. So, same thing with your box. As they're trying to create the words, it could have been misinterpreted.
Right.
Um, you thought "don't starve yourself" in the beginning when it says starved. And I thought, oh, maybe she's starving from certain nutrients she needs. And the nutritionist is going to point that out to her to help her create a more valuable diet. So we just interpreted it differently.
Well, we've just got another
Right.
word, furious.
Furious. That makes sense. Yes, and Brenda is saying she thinks that this is her husband coming through and who is talking about what's happening with their son, which would make sense.
Oh yeah, because I've had it a few times where I've had people pass over, and a friend in particular, as it goes, asked me about it, and I could see the dad in the spirit world. He sort of greeted the son, but he had a go at him, saying, "What are you doing here already? You're not supposed to be
Mm,
here yet. What are you being so effing stupid for?" And he was really laying into the poor kid. And in the end, afterwards, he just sort of grabbed him and held him because
oh,
he was great to see him. But he was sort of basically giving him a bit of a disciplinary before he actually hugged him because of the mistakes he made. Oh, we got a
right.
name come through. Jennifer.
Jennifer. Anybody that recognized the Jennifer name? Because I had Mariana Rose also saying that these words are still connecting with her, very similar situation to Brenda's. And now we just got the name Jennifer, if anyone. And it doesn't just have to, pertain to them,
I
obviously. I know
I
other
feel
people
like,
had mentioned.
yeah, but I feel like the communicator shifted, David.
Yeah,
You feel, like
that's
the
what I was saying.
Jennifer
Yeah,
is
it
coming
could.
from a new communicator.
I think
Yeah.
we've had quite a few communicators with this.
Mm-hmm.
But like I say, I
Absolutely.
will explain at the end why I'm doing this.
Oh, actually, we're getting close to the end, so maybe we should have you explain
Right,
that.
quickly then. What it is, this is a random word generator. It generates a
Really?
word every 30 to 90 seconds.
Huh.
It has a bank of 45,000 words and phrases.
Wow.
So all it is basically, I'm sorry to anyone. I'm not trying to take anything away from anyone, honestly. I'm not saying they don't exist. Extended has just come through. But all this is a random word generator. That's why I guaranteed results. In the paranormal, we never guarantee anything.
Right.
But I knew we was going to get words through this because it generates words every 30 to 90 seconds.
Right.
So no
But
matter
wouldn't
where
you?
you are, it's going to generate a word or a phrase.
No, 100%. But it sounds like from everybody's connecting to this so much, don't you think that spirit could influence what words are being generated? Because it didn't come up with, ice cream, dog, eyeball. It was,
Well, this is what I
like,
mean when I said you have
yeah,
to take it with a pinch of salt
yeah,
because you cannot guarantee that what's going to come through on this because it is a random word generator.
right.
So
You
why
know,
do you use it when you do your paranormal investigation?
basically, I use equipment, most of what I use, to help people come together, to get everyone interacted, so that it makes it interesting. Because we know we could be sitting there for hours on end. As far as we're concerned, nothing's happening. We may not get anything. And
Right.
for someone who's just starting off, to sit there for hours on end and nothing happening, I've had it in the past where people have left investigations because they think nothing's happened.
Right.
So it brings people together, gets them all involved, gets them all interacted, gets them interested in it, and hopefully it opens their mind up more to accepting when things do actually happen. So I use it to basically just make it a bit more interesting rather than sitting there for hours and possibly have nothing happen because we can't guarantee any spiritual interaction unless they want to.
So my follow-up question is then, because what you're saying is that it's just going to generate a word, and it's not presumably genuine or legit. But then my follow-up question is, I've had like my deceased mentor, Reverend Patricia Duffield. She actually, I was typing something and she typed her, oh, there was just a background noise.
I heard it.
Yeah. And she typed, the name appeared. It's not a name in my diary or anything else. And I went up to check because I was writing a text to someone or a Facebook Messenger, and it was Duffield. Now, I tried 3 or 4 times to create. I run DFL. It would never spell check or correct it as Duffield. And I wasn't typing about her, but she was letting me know because it did concern a church matter. And she was letting me know that she was around. And I have a medium friend in Australia. His daughter in spirit used to arrange like Scrabble things to spell out words.
Oh, the
Hmm.
tiles.
Yes, tiles. Thank you. That's the word. So in these instances, and then of course the Sonia Rinaldi's research in Brazil, she is able, spirit influences her electronic devices and creates an image, which then can pretty matched up to the recipient's photos from the past. Um, how could we rule out that they don't influence the box in choosing the one word out of 45,000?
Yeah,
That's the
exactly.
that's
Yeah.
the thing. We can't. It is all
Oh,
theory.
okay.
So all we got in the paranormal is theory and experience.
Right.
The way I look upon it is we have no concrete 100% foolproof facts. We know what we know through our experiences. We develop our theories and we try and find our own answers. We just had Mary come through, and what is it with a question mark?
Mary, what is it?
So I can't actually say that spirit are or are not influencing what's coming on this. I'm just letting people know that this is a random word generator. It will guarantee results no matter what, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing.
Hmm.
You're going to get words, guaranteed. And that's the bit that I don't like. I don't like the guarantee. I like the randomness. Was it abandoned? Just come
Abandoned.
through.
Yeah, well, I agree with you, David. I mean, I think I hear what you're saying, that it is, random word generator, et cetera. But just like, anyone that does this work knows that spirit is constantly using things to get their messages across. Like I've had telephones, back in the day when people had telephones that were not plugged in, that had no batteries, that were completely dead, hadn't been used for years, that started ringing, and I picked them up. So, and I'm like, hello. So, spirit will 100% use. And I personally believe in this interaction that we've been having. I do believe they were influencing those words, because there's no way that you would have so many people connect to totally random words. And also, again, they weren't, kind of more basic words. They were really kind of an intense story, intense situation that a lot of these people have been through with their loved ones. So I do believe personally that spirit has been using that as a way to connect to us, just like they use a multitude of other objects. But yes, can we prove it? No. It's like I tell people in my sittings, they say, well, where do you get your information from? Well, I believe I get it from spirit, but for all I know, there could be somebody up on Mars beaming it down. I don't know. I don't have any proof, but we are getting it from somewhere. And I think if it quacks like a duck and walks like a duck, then it's probably a duck.
Well,
So
what I'm
I get
going
a lot
to
of aliens transfiguring over me,
Right.
and we've got
It
some
could
pictures
be.
of them.
It could be.
well,
So,
people that know me know that I love experiments. I love doing research over a certain period of time. So I'm going to keep using it on experiments. I'm going to keep using it on investigations. And I'm going to see with the locations I go to, the words I get and the connection it makes between the two. And I think that way I'll get more information and have perhaps better answers as to
mhm.
how this works rather than just a random word generator from 45,000 words. Time. Are they telling us time's
Time.
up?
Time. Yeah, I think that's probably true. I thought this was fascinating. We're getting a lot of amazing feedback here on our Facebook chat, and everybody is loving it. So thank you so much for bringing the spirit chat word generator. And, I don't know, I'm thinking I still might get one because I love to use any tools that we can to try to connect to the other side, whatever they are. And also you can feel it, I think, especially with the work we do, it's like you can kind of feel if it's like, yeah, that sounds kind of like not true, or it feels like, there's a connection here. And I'm sort of feeling that this was very connected. A lot of the words that were coming through were certainly very connected to our audience. And I was kind of getting that feeling as well. So thank you so much for bringing that and for coming on the show. And I don't know if we want to go a couple minutes over. I'm sure Winter
I
has
just
like
want,
a,
yeah, I want to make a couple of announcements. I'd love to have your device. Um, Witches and Warlock Night for Main Street, Northport Village. If you're local, come on down. It's a free event. Wear your witch's hat, and you can go into each of the stores. I'll be there, and running a free raffle, and they have drink specials down the road, etc. 10:30. Here's something I'm doing I've never done before. I'm going to be in a funeral home for a spooktacular charity event. That's someplace I'd like to bring your random word generator, because it's a charity event at a funeral home in West Babylon. It's to raise money for two causes, programs for autistic children and adults, and then a charity trust that's set up to help Long Islanders who maybe they have a car accident and they miss a mortgage payment because they're out of work for a month. This trust will pay the mortgage, to keep them from going into fault or things like that. So there'll be a DJ, music. I'm told that sometimes they take pictures of you laying in the casket. I've never
wow.
worked in a funeral home. I mean, I've gone to, oh, you have.
I want to go in the casket.
Yeah, I've never
It's
done this,
so
but it's all,
creepy.
I'm just donating my time to help with these worthy causes, but it's interesting. So if you're local to Long Island, the next day, Halloween, I have 20 pounds of candy to give to the children who are coming for safe trick or treat on Main Street in Northport Village from 1 to 4. It's a safe alternative than to going to strange homes. You can go into each of the participating merchants and stores like mine, and we'll give you candy. Um, and then I'm doing a fantastic event called Transcendence. I've done this before with a group of about 20 teachers. It's online November 8th through 10th. There'll be 20 courses. Simone Key, who's from the UK, and another teacher formerly from the AFC, and then local Long Islanders and some international presenters like Jake Cooper and Brian Smith. Um, there'll be 20 events, 20 sessions of either demonstrating, workshops, or lecturing. I'm going to lecture on physical mediumship and show photos of it. And it's all for $55. And if you use my code, you get an extra $5 off. So $50 and you get 20 workshops. So that's quite a bargain, and they're not recorded, so you do have to, I think you have to do it live, but it's from Friday, all day Saturday, and all day Sunday. I'm going to be doing Saturday night from 5 to 6 on physical mediumship, and I'll have photos and I'll talk about it and explain what it is. And yeah, there's some really top rated teachers and some up and coming new people as well. So definitely worth the investment. And it was very successful the first time they did it. This is their second one. So if you need additional information, write to me at Winterbrook Psychic Medium at gmail.com. And I'd be happy to send you the link, or check my Facebook page. I advertise. I've just been super busy and haven't been advertising as much. I'll get back on it, folks. I promise.
Awesome. Well, I know Winter always has a million things going on, and so I will try to be brief as I know we are already over time. Um, I am also going to be on the Something Super Spiritual podcast with Jeffrey Peck on Wednesday, October 30th, 7 p.m. Eastern, and we will be doing spooky Halloween readings. So check out my website, mediummari.com, if you want the log on, all that information. I will also be on the Medical Intuitive Miracle Show December 10th with the amazing medical intuitive Kimberly Meredith, and we'll be doing readings as well, and probably talking about a little bit about animal communication. And she is offering the amazing Mother Mary Matrix. That's a lot of M's. Mother Mary Matrix. Check. You can go to her website, The Healing Trilogy, and it is December 14th. 5 p.m. Eastern, and it is free. It's donation only. And we're all going to be doing readings, and there's going to be gifts given away. It's like a holiday party, December 14th. Mother Mary Matrix, and it's super fun. It's like 2 or 3 hours, and a lot of people get readings, and again, there's gifts and giveaways. So that's a super fun event that I'm looking forward to as well. So thank you, David. Yeah, it's busy. It's good to be busy, and thank you, David. And Winter and I are gonna have a little powwow to see if we can get over there and investigate some stuff with you. That would be fun. And thank you again for coming on our show. I don't know if there's any events that you would like to plug, David, that you have coming up soon.
I don't actually have any events, but if anyone wants to get in touch, Facebook would be the best way. I've got 3 pages. I've got my personal page, David Cook. I've got Essex Ghost Investigations, and I've got the Ghostly Hour page as well. If you message me, please don't just put hi, hello. Please put why you're messaging me, because otherwise I will think it's spam and I just won't reply. But if I can help anyone in any way, please feel free to get in touch.
Yes, David is amazing, and that is a good idea. Always put your name and why you're texting, because I think that happens all the time. You're like, who are you? Delete. But thank you for being on the show, and you were fabulous again. We got so many people saying all these wonderful things, how interesting and fascinating it was. And thank you again for coming on. It's been amazing. Thank you, everybody, for listening to Spirit Chat. We'll be back again next month. I'm not sure of the date, but we will work on that and put it on all our Facebook pages. I am Medium Mari, my beautiful co-host Winter Brook, and our fabulous guest David Cook, paranormal investigator from the UK. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Happy Halloween, and we'll talk to you